Hi, everyone. We're here again for topic 3, actionable takeaways. I'm Janelle Spellman. I am the residential repaint Sherwin-Williams marketing manager. And today we have a great group of people with us. First, Nick Slavic. Nick, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I am Nick Slavic. This is my 32nd year in the industry. I've been the proprietor of the Nick Slavic Painting and Restoration Company for 16 years. I am the host of a show on social media called Ask a Painter Live. That's been around about 8 years. And I am the board chair of a 140-year-old nonprofit that serves this industry called the Painting Contractors Association.
Awesome. Cassidy Jordan, do you mind introducing yourself as well?
Yeah, so I'm Cassidy. I own Ohio City Painting here in Cleveland, Ohio. It's an interior or high quality interior repaint. And this is my partner, Jordan.
I'm Jordan. I run the social media for Ohio City Painting. I also run a social media education company. I'm super passionate about helping people, especially painters, generate success in their business with the tools that social media provides.
And finally, we have Alex Williams. Alex, do you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Williams. I'm a social media specialist for Sherwin-Williams, and my job is essentially to produce engaging content and to connect with our customers.
All right, let's start with social media channels. What social media channels are you on and why?
I think I'll let you
Do you want me to take this
Yeah.
one? Most importantly, you need to choose a platform that you enjoy being on, that you would be able to have fun on. Number two, you need to find a platform that your customers are on. And I think number three is choosing a platform that gives you the most robust opportunities to grow on. So, for example, we choose Instagram because we have a lot of fun on it. Our customers are on it, and it gives you a robust set of tools to use. It gives you a book button, polls to engage your community and get to know them. It gives you the chance to have clickable links. And it's an algorithm that if you crack the code of, you can have a lot of success on.
Nick, how about you? How do you choose the platforms you're on?
Right now, how we choose is that same thing. Some of the best advice ever was, where are your clients? It's very likely that Snapchat is not where most of my key demographic is. It's very likely that Facebook and Instagram is. That's saying an obvious thing, but it is absolutely true. You have to be really choosy where that is. And then you want modularity, you want tools, you want controllable things, you want to be able to pay, you want to be able to do organic stuff. And really it's just, it doesn't take much efforts to figure out where your clients are, because you post a bunch of stuff and numerically people will tell you if they like it or not, and you can very easily find out where your people are.
Yeah, and from a Sherwin-Williams perspective, I'd like to add to that. So whether you're starting from scratch or you're reevaluating the channels that you're currently on and what your priority channels are, Sherwin-Williams has really easy to use resource that provides you with an overview of each channel and helps you determine which platforms are right for you and for your audience. It also talks about paid, as Nick mentioned as well. So that resource is called our Social Media Guide for Contractors, and that can be found as an attachment to this meeting invite today.
Cassidy, I know you had a lot of luck with our social media guide. How do you use it and why?
Yeah, so Jordan's been in social media for a long time, so obviously I had her helping out when I launched Ohio City Painting. However, we couldn't quite figure out really what to, like, with the industry, with the painting industry specifically, what to put on social media. So having that, painters love tools, so having that as a tool in our wheelhouse to have on jobs, to know what to post. That was the biggest thing, is what do we post on these? What type of content are we posting? That was like the number one takeaway that we used from that, because we were already on social media a little bit, but we just, to bring that in, that was a really nice tool for us to have.
Yeah.
So what are some ways you find inspiration in creating your own content?
So in terms of what to post, a lot of it comes from the fact that we have the philosophy of film everything. So when we're on job sites, we film Cassidy getting out the power sander, or Cassidy pausing to look around at her work, and every little thing, opening paint can, the first stroke of paint on the wall. We capture all types of content so that later, when we're scrolling through news feeds and seeing what other painters are up to, we can kind of see what is working for them and what do we already have in our content library that we can kind of play on and create something that's authentic to us but data proven works. if that makes sense. So a lot of times we'll go through news feeds and I'll see like, what's Nick Slavik painting? What are all these other painters doing that has really high engagement? And how can we learn from this content and apply that to our own? That's a really important thing that we do consistently.
Nick, what about you? How do you find your inspiration?
I've done a lot of things wrong. One of the things I've done right, I think, is that from day one, probably 10 or 12 years now of posting on social media, is I've only posted things that interest me. And it turns out that that is very interesting to other painters and homeowners as well, too. So I love those words, authentic and genuine, because literally that is the cheat code for social media, aside with consistency, too. So I get inspired by my work. I get inspired by the people I surround myself with. So naturally, what you're going to find is my work and my people a lot. And there's seasons of the year as well, too. So there's times that I deep dive into my project management stuff, and magically you'll see a lot of that on there. And that is a good inspiration. And even yesterday, I took a note. I saw somebody had reposted. There's a video I've seen probably 8 or 9 times, but it's of an English painter who paints red phone booths in England. And it's so eloquent the way that he's been around the industry for 50 years. And I know it's been tossed around social media. Everybody's seen it. But the way he describes the old way, the new way, his current thoughts on it, and he just said it so eloquently. I actually wrote a note and said, you should try something like that. That's actually very touching. And it was visually very appealing, but also it really made me stop and just think about my own craft for a while.
Alex, any thoughts there?
Yeah, for sure. I think determining where to start creating content if you're new to social media can be a bit overwhelming. So if you don't know where to start, Sherwin-Williams has some customizable social media templates that you can use to promote your own brand and your own work by just a few simple steps. So to get started, you would log in, and if you don't yet have a login, you would register at swproplus.com. And when you log in, you'll be driven to your ProPlus dashboard. From there, you will be navigating to select the customizable marketing materials, so specifically social media assets. And from there, it's simply selecting a template, customizing it, and then posting it. So it's super, super simple, and it's just a great way to kick off your social channels or even add to existing content that you have.
Nick, how do you stay up to date on social media trends? And what type of education do you use to stay current?
When I see most trends I see, which you would consider like a social media trend, are interesting to me, but I don't really subscribe to a lot of those things. You'll actually not find a lot of before and afters on mine. I would argue that if a young contractor came and said, how do I get the most work and the most following, I would say, number one, before and afters, and also list the paint color. Like you guys talked about, like adding value, even to people who aren't going to sell. Literally, that is the best thing you can do for your business. I find I just don't do that a lot. So what the unsatisfying answer of how I stay consistent is, this is deeply unsatisfying. I have a deep passion for what we do. Like I love this craft arguably more than anybody else. I've lived it since I was 10 years old, 32 years. There's nothing more satisfying than priming a piece of bare wood to me. And it's very easy to want to share that regularly. So in fact, I don't have to struggle to be consistent. I have to struggle to maintain a good boundary between, is this a piece of content that will help or stabilize or improve my image? Will it continue the ethos and the core values that I perpetuate? Or is it just me diddling on the internet? And you got to be very careful about that, especially when you have, businesses and kids and stuff like that. You can find yourself just spending all the time on social media because it's for my business. So you have to be really careful about I have a deep passion for it. I have a deep passion for sharing, but it has to be the right kind of sharing and it has to be metered. So I tell myself once a day, give or take.
Perfect. Cassidy, Jordan, how do you stay on trend?
Yeah, I think he nailed it again. You won't find many trendy things, that we're doing on social media. I think what we stick to is what works. So we do kind of throw everything out there on social media and see what our audience really likes. So, we're not in an industry that people can just walk up and down the street and see what we're doing all the time. So getting a window into, even just taking a roller from the pan to the wall, stuff like that, people really find it satisfying, and we get a lot of feedback, which is the biggest thing in staying consistent is that feedback. So anytime a video does really well, we will do that again. So that's our biggest key in consistency.
Yeah, and I think I would add the biggest thing that you can look for as an additional tool, especially with this is probably just for TikTok and Instagram, maybe Facebook Reels, maybe YouTube Shorts. They're all kind of becoming one. Um, is music. Music is something that I do pay a lot of attention to, especially in terms of trends, especially around a day that's important to us. So I'll give you an example. Women's History Month. I believe that was the most recent one where we put a piece of content out there that did really well. And the reason it did so well, I knew it was gonna do so well because I played on a kind of a Women's Day trend where I found music that had the up arrow, which means it's trending. And I looked at the library that Instagram gives you for that music. So you do so by clicking on the music. And then I looked at what are the top performing pieces of content that used this music. And I found this incredible woman. I don't know, I think she was like a welder or something, just like doing incredible things in life. I looked at the video she did and I studied it. And like I told you earlier, I thought, what can I apply that she did here to our content in an authentic way that's not just ripping this from her, but is inspired by her. And we did it, right? So we looked at what the formula was that this creator used, applied it to our own with our own strategy, and it worked really well for us, and it inspired so many other women. So many women painters commented on that post. If you're watching this and you saw the video, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's what it's all about, right? So if you are going to play on trends, do it in a way that feels good. You don't want it to feel like you're copying or you're just like, maybe not giving credit where credit is due. But there is a way to play on trends that will actually help you grow your business. So if it feels good for you, definitely play on them.
What are some best practices in growing your audience from your inner circles, from your friends and family, to a larger, bigger circle?
Yeah, so there's an unsatisfying answer, which is, again, authentic and genuine and consistent. And that's typically not what people want to hear. They want to say, what picture can I post that will go viral and I'll have 100,000 followers instantly? And that is not a strategy. That is not a scalable sort of way of doing social media. Yeah, it's basically consistency. So if you want to grow your audience, it is, again, we can't hit this enough, authentic and genuine, post consistently. And by consistently, 3 times a day is not, it's a lot, but you're not overdoing it at 3 times a day. I would argue once a day consistently for years and years and years is a great start, and it doesn't take that much time. And then another part, the third part of that unsatisfying answer is literally direct messaging, interacting with other people. It's your effort that does that. It's very likely that none of us will ever crack the magic algorithm of something and by chance we'll trip over a viral video. It's really connect with other genuine people, post things that are authentic to you, do it as much as you can, and over years, guaranteed your social media following will not only grow, but grow with the people that you want to attract the most.
Curious, when you say direct message other people, who are you messaging? What are you saying to them?
Yeah, so red phone booth guy, I'll send a message. You can send a message to the person who posted it. I said, hey, what is the source of this? Do you have contact information for this guy? They'll send it, and I will send a message that's saying, listen, that was one of the most thoughtful videos I've ever seen. I'm not asking for anything. I just want to tell you I appreciate that little bit of time you took to make sure, the lighting was right, the audio was right, the words that you said were very touching to me, and the edits were done well. Coming from somebody who does that stuff, that takes a lot of work, and I don't want that to be unnoticed. So just thank you. And you do enough of that genuinely over the years. I've amassed, when you look at some of my followings online, it's not that large, arguably, but the people who are there are like best friends. And that's how I've created that really close camaraderie in the industry.
I love that. Cassidy, Jordan, how are you growing your audience?
The whole time I'm sitting here nodding my head because Nick's spot on with that, the authenticity piece. You walk around town and you see someone with a shirt on that you like, you naturally would just be like, oh, I really like your shirt, right? So the same thing applies on social media. We are really big on, looking at what's going on in our community and honestly, even local businesses and what's going on around us, commenting constantly, DMing people constantly, just because we want to have an interest in them. Our feeds aren't full of all painting industry. We're really immersed in our community. but also in the paint community, especially the women in paint community around the world. We have, Australia friends just because we've connected, right? So there's no limit to like how you can grow. It's just a matter of putting yourself out there I can't say that word today, authentically, telling people you enjoy what they're watching or you enjoy what they're doing, and, just kind of playing on that.
Yeah, there's a key that I learned recently, and it kind of corroborates what you're describing, Nick. And it's that your goal should be to build a community that will not allow your business to fail, and that is possible. And I could tell you stories and stories on that prove that to be true, but we'll spare you unless I meet some of you in person. I can share it. But I also wanted to add another little nugget, and it's in addition to everything Nick is saying, because there's not one thing you said that I disagree with. And it's that you need to be providing value whether people are going to buy from you or not. So you're providing value whether people are going to become your customers or not. You're providing value to the homeowners who can't afford to spend $10,000 on a paint job this year, but maybe they will be able to 5 years from now, and they're going to remember you because you showed them how to properly pour paint in a little
Pan.
in a pan. And you showed them how to cut, without tape, and little things like that. You're constantly providing value by either inspiring them, entertaining them, or educating them. They're going to remember you and choose you should they ever have the means to hire you.
This is a common question I hear all the time from our contractors. How often should you be posting on social media, and how do you stay consistent?
When you're first starting out, just setting a goal is really important. Social media can get really overwhelming. So 3 times a week at first, that's great, but it's really just the consistency. So our goal now is, at least 3 times a week. And if we do more, great. But we've really built that community that Jordan's saying, build a community that won't let you fail. So now if we do take a week off of posting, when we come back, people are still cheering us on and rooting for us, right? We're still getting a lot of that engagement. So, but with that consistency piece, I think that's really the most important.
Yeah, and also we're not only on one platform. We have like 7 social media platforms that we're using, right? So for us, posting 3 times a week works. We were able to build a 6-figure paint company in a couple of years with posting 3 times a week with around less than 1,000 followers. So those stories are really important for the first demographic of painters that Nick described, who, maybe are a bit smaller, maybe, a couple people on your team. If you want to just go the organic route and you want to do what you can on social media, you could post 3 times a week, as long as each post is the highest quality type of content that you can come up with. You can definitely generate success in your company, but it depends. Are you going to one day want to be able to sell merch and, generate a good income with merch? Do you want to maybe have 10,000 followers in the matter of a couple of years? You're probably going to want to post every single day. So you have to sit down and figure out, what does consistency mean to you, and what is your goal, and how many times a week do you need to be posting to reach that goal?
Yeah, I find whenever I have a plan, if I have the plan in my head, it usually lasts about 2 days. If I actually write it out, and it'll last maybe like a month or so, and then if I write it out and post it somewhere where I can see it, on the fridge, or whether that's my bathroom mirror, that's when I become consistent and where it becomes a habit. So I love that feedback of, write out your plan, make sure, you understand your goals and how you're going to be authentic.
Earlier we talked a little bit about your social media for painting contractors. I gave it a little look through before we started today.
Yeah.
And I want to read a quote in here that I think is so important. And it's, for the generations that spend a lot of time online, if you don't exist in the digital space, you might as well not exist at all. It's a really important point, and I love this guide because it's that direct. That statement in this guide has inspired me to inspire other local painters here in Cleveland, who, probably have a few more decades on us, and they just are in this mindset that I don't need social media. because I have business. And what I try to help those people understand is that, yeah, business is good now, but what if it's not in a couple years? Why wouldn't you give social media a try? Like Nick said, you can generate a lot of success by just popping up and sharing your thoughts and posting it. You will do all of the things that we're telling you to do by doing something that simple. You'll be authentic, you'll be true to you, and you'll be showing up for your community. And just do it. It's so worth it, and you can have fun with it. It doesn't have to be this like painful task, right? You can actually get in there and play and create things that bring you and your community joy. So I wanted to add that.
That's awesome. Two things from me, which is that social media guide by Sherwin. When I first saw that, literally every bullet point that you guys say is bore out with real experience, boots on the ground, of my experiments, my data, and my feelings from running a $3 million painting business. So, I mean, you might read that pamphlet and say, these are very obvious things. Here's the thing. Can you be professional enough? Can you be consistent enough to do them and actually get a result? And do not sleep on that pamphlet. That is one of the most robust, simple, straightforward pieces of success advice that you can get about social media.
Yeah, hang it on your fridge. The social media guide will be on the Zoom invite, as well as you can ask your local sales rep for one as well. Alex, is there anything else that we needed to add here?
No, I think you hit the last point about our Pro Plus Business Training webinar series. I will call out our Social Media 101 episode. That's episode 6. So go check that out. It's a great extension of today's conversation, and it's just another tool to help you continue your social media education. Again, that's on YouTube at Sherwin-Williams.
Cassidy, one of the authentic things that I found in your social media is your shoes. And, we were talking about earlier today that you're wearing them. So, is there a reason why your white flip-flops keep making an appearance throughout?
Yeah, so apparently I'm known for my white flip-flops. So, again, that authenticity piece, I feel very comfortable in no shoes or slides. And I walk around all my jobs with that on. So I get a lot of flack for that. It's a very popular thing. I don't know if it's, people are just not used to seeing toes, on a job site or what's going on there. But yeah, that's who I am, and that's how I show up.
I will say it's become kind of a hidden, like, what would you call it? Like a
strategy.
A hidden strategy. There's some big time social media marketers out there who once taught me that one way secret to success is intentionally generate negative feedback. Take your mental health and the importance of maintaining it into consideration here.
Right.
However, there are little things you can do. This guy puts like weird teddy bears in his videos, or like weird things just to get people to comment on them. So ours is the fact that she's barefoot or in slides.
Yeah.
I am at the point now where we wait for the comments to go crazy.
Oh, my feet are showing again.
Some of our like most viral videos are all because 100 people commented about Cassidy's shoes. And what those 100 people don't realize is they think they're like making fun of us and hurting our feelings, I guess. But in reality, they're telling the algorithm that, hey, this is a piece of content that's keeping users on this platform. So they're going to pump it in front of more people. And it's worked for us.
It works.
Nick, what shoes are you wearing, Nick?
Ooh, I don't even know if I can get my feet up that high. I got Vans today, so I waffle between, I typically wear my Red Wing work boots, so I don't get the haters online saying anything to me. But this year I graduated to business casual at work. I used to always wear my cream button-up shirts and my cream colored painter's pants to keep it real with the kids on the streets with my Red Wing work boots. But this year I'm a professional manager in my business, so I got to come with like, I got a pair of khakis on and stuff and a Carhartt shirt with my Vans. So that's the uniform now.
So now I did take a dive down your social media as well, Nick. And I did see that you made a comment about a tracksuit and how you weren't wearing your normal airport tracksuit. And I will say, I did see it in the Vancouver airport. So is that your trademark?
All right. So I take that back. I do have my version of the white sandals. Okay. I didn't even know it, but it started off as being genuine and authentic. and consistent, might I add, that when I travel 15 to 18 times a year for industry events, many for Sherwin, I do wear my Adidas tracksuit because it is the most comfortable way for a guy to travel around the country. And so, yes, it is one of those things. When I do not wear it, I get the crazy comments around like, oh, what, Nick, you must not be traveling today, you know? So, yeah.
You know, actually, I was thinking about it, and to me, it reminds me of The Loneliest Color. Have you seen the ad for Sherwin-Williams?
I was going to mention that.
You need
I
to
love
go
that.
viral with it, yeah.
I actually messaged you guys saying, I love this idea. This poor color that nobody uses. You guys found an artist and you did something with it. Like, what a beautiful idea. It makes me very jealous I didn't come up with that idea. I love that.
Maybe that'll be our next webinar we talk about is your guys' shoes, tracksuits, and the loneliest color. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us on topic 3, actionable takeaways. We'll see everyone in the live Q&A.